Hi, this is Gerig, and I'm going to be speaking about ethics and instructional design from a Christian worldview perspective. During the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus spoke these words in Matthew 5. "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden." That's from Matthew 5, verse 14 in the New International Bible, 2011. If we are the light of the world, what does that mean? Can't Christians just go to church every Sunday and be slovenly hypocrites the rest of the week? No, we can't. As that shining light of truth, that city on the hill that everyone will see from miles away, we must not hide that light. With that in mind, my focus today will be on the gathering of data and how it affects students in ethics. I will also examine virtual reality, also known as VR, and that pesky tool that everyone either seems to love or hate, artificial intelligence, or AI. The world is full of darkness and confusion. We are to be that light. That's what we must remember when we consider ethical standards in instructional design. In this world of computers and online access everywhere, data on us is constantly being collected, and that alone represents a huge ethical issue for companies and search engines that collect that data. When looking at schools and the privacy of our students, however, designers need to be mindful of protecting students as much as possible. Floria and Floria, 2020, report that the European Union has passed a law referred to as the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, which stipulates that data collectors be transparent in their collection and delete it after their own purposes have been completed. The user is able to access, change, or delete personal data if and when they choose. Floria and Floria state that the negative consequence of this centers around the flow of information to researchers versus the user's privacy. Article 83 of GDPR allows information release for research purposes, but there is no clear definition of research, which leaves open the door for collection of data without the user's knowledge and transfer of that data to those outside the original scope. The authors say that by comparison, the United States only pinpoints certain users, such as children's privacy or health-related privacy, instead of issuing broad protections. Authors Floria and Floria urge tighter restrictions on data collection and use, which is a necessity in the U.S. as well as Europe. Schools may choose not to use software which requires the sharing of students' personal information, but this then eliminates some very good software from being used in classrooms. That leaves the Christian designer with the responsibility to be an honest light in the midst of confusion and darkness. Virtual reality is another growing technology with many positive possibilities for students and teachers. It also has certain ethical issues attached to it. Skomowski, 2023, addresses several issues, such as an unhealthy dependency on digital technologies and escapism from reality, a distortion of the real world, and brainwashing people if a brain and computer interface was combined with ER, or were combined with ER. Other possible issues could involve a detachment from reality or mental health problems, privacy concerns from data that could be collected, blurring of the real and virtual worlds, and nausea or fatigue, also called cybersickness. Possible antidotes to these issues are content ratings and warnings, laws regarding data privacy as noted with data collections earlier, and age regulations. With these negatives, one might wonder if VR is worth using. Skomowski says that research indicates that certain learning outcomes are elevated, but that it has little effect on other outcomes. It can be useful for field trips that would otherwise not be feasible, investigations into dangerous places such as outer space or ocean depths. Historical recreations can be insightful, and medical procedural recreations are possible that could potentially injure people in real life. However, the author urges caution for educators wanting to use VR for their students. Schiff, 2022, noted that as of 2018, artificial intelligence, or AI, had been around for a decade, yet no legislation pertaining to AI in education had been passed. The author analyzed how instructional designers in different countries used AI. The developing country of Kenya, for example, sought to use AI to assist in finding gaps in students' learning and select lessons for them to fill in these gaps. Other countries, though, like India, wanted to teach students how to use AI in the workplace after they graduated. Schiff notes that this is an example of AI being used for education, rather than just educating students to understand how to use AI. This approach differs somewhat from AI today. Lim et al. 2023 focus on the most prevalent part of AI, ChatGPT, for student use, and addresses the fear that educators and designers have of ChatGPT. The authors compare how ChatGPT is programmed to respond to its actual response. When asked about the winner of the Australian Open in 2023, it answered with an apology that its training stopped in 2021. The authors then asked about the winner of the 2022 World Cup, and it answered France, which was wrong. ChatGPT seems at this point right when it obeys its programming, but wrong when it ignores it and answers anyway. AI is still developing, and fears abound for educators that ChatGPT will get to the point where it will be impossible to tell if a student's homework is really theirs. A bigger ethical issue, though, is trying to forbid students from something that can be useful when used correctly. AI can access information more efficiently than search engines and is a very capable organizer. Lim et al. Urges us not to fear this technology, but to learn its uses and its flaws. We are the light of the world, and light is only effective when it shines truth into the fear and darkness. Jesus told the people that no one hides a lamp under a bowl. In Matthew 5:16, New International Bible 2011, Jesus says, "In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." Designers face ethical conflicts every day, but keeping in touch with Jesus and reflecting on his words will help us overcome the issues and temptations that arise. As we let our light shine, fellow educators and students will see Jesus in us, and he will be glorified. This concludes my presentation, and here are my references.